autofocus, which would be really nice to have on a camera for when I'm streaming and stuff, because it has that really nice dual pixel. So I ended up getting it. So I'm gonna have this one so I can actually put Instagram photos and stuff up on the Instagrams and Twitters, and I can actually take really good photos and be able to walk around with a camera instead of having it separate.
Yeah. Oh gosh, the whole vlogging thing, that was very fun, but I got over that quickly. I wish I hadn't, but editing and I are not friends, so bleh.
Yeah, I'm not an editor.
Yeah, I know. I need to find just that. I've had so many offers. Oh, we should talk about this in a future episode too. Actually, I'm going to add that to the thing. Like professionalism, dealing with contractors might be how I'm just going to list this, because I had a guy in my chat that did like one of those, hey, you know, I do this sort of thing as a job, blah, 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 blah. I'd like to offer to help you with your editing. And he was really serious about it, really great questions. And I answered all of them. And I waited a day, I heard nothing. I waited another day, and I finally messaged him and go, hey man, what's up? Haven't heard back. And he goes, oh, well, I want to jump into like working. He's like, I want to be fully contracted to work with you. And I was like, I'm sorry, man. I'm like, you don't have any kind of like, you do video work elsewhere, but like, you don't have any work with people of my caliber of vlogs at all. Like, you don't have any sort of that experience. I'm like, no big YouTuber is going to scoop you up, just so you know, like, not to be rude, but that is a pipe dream. Like, that will not just stumble into your lap. So that guy didn't like that I gave him that advice, but oh well, at least it was accurate advice. I mean, you got to have a portfolio and all that good stuff. So, maybe we could do an etiquette episode in the future. You always see those tweets, too, where people share, like artists will share, someone trying to troll them down in price and then ends up saying, like, you're a shit artist. You blah, blah, blah. Like, those tweets always get me.
Oh, yeah. I have friends that are artists, and they have to deal with that all the time.
I think maybe we could do a little etiquette. Hi, Smarty. Hi, Ashley. How you doing? Welcome aboard. We're going to get started here in just a minute. I'm just checking out things on this side, make sure we're all set up here. I've made so many new screens for this computer. Oh, good. Here we are, actually. Let's do that. Hello. I created a couple different layouts and stuff. Got some amazing Fallout alerts working. But boy, I spent a lot of time yesterday just diving into the back end of Stream Elements and doing
Can I tell you, I am loving your Fallout and everything you're doing right now. Like, I haven't really got a chance to like talk to you like a one-on-one basis.
Compliment.
But dude, I went in and I was like, man, look at this. And then your hype train stuff was like, which we can't talk too much about it because that's going to be a little bit later.
Yeah,
but that stuff blew me away. I was
Very
like,
kind.
dude, you're doing a good job.
Very kind. I'm very excited. Yeah, chat. I want to solicit your feedback. Feel free to like prep that and write it in chat here later on in the episode. I want to know what your feedback is on the hype trains, good and bad, because I got to talk with someone at Twitch today. We'll go into that, but they are very excited to know what people think about it. And I think the numbers say a lot on their own, but like, I was like, guys, this is your ticket. Like, ticket, haha, kind of punny because it's train ticket. Anyway, this is your ticket, Twitch. Don't drop this. This is a good thing. So, but instead of just spoiling everything before we do it, hi, Mac, why don't we jump right into it? Hello, Prince, what's up? Mr. Vault Tech, that's right, you know it. Okay, chat, here we go. Let's, testing, make sure that works. And good to go. You all good on your side, Nate?
I'm ready to roll.
Let's do it. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a new episode of the Path to Partner podcast. I can't speak this week, but my name is Kyle, and I'm joined by my co-host, as always, Nate. How you doing this week, man?
I'm fantastic. It's so nice to be back on the podcast. This is one of the things I look forward to doing.
Me too. I really like this. It's all the things we don't get to talk about, like in our own chats as much. So this is the perfect place for it. And we talked to you all about us moving to a bi-weekly kind of schedule every 2 weeks, just in this kind of drought of information. And boy, do I think that was right. First of all, you were sick as a dog last time we met up. Like, we did that little shorty one. Did you recover all well and good? You're safe?
Oh, yeah. I have no clue. It's these allergies. Like, I live in southeastern Ohio, and the trees just decide to bloom all at once. And I mean, my car literally was like caked in this like yellow green pollen and stuff. And I was loopy, tired, feeling like poop. And so I feel 1,000 times better now.
I know what you mean. I definitely remember those days of going out the car and just like wiping off the windshield from all that pollen and like a thick coating. Well, I'm glad to hear you're healthy. Glad to hear you're back on the mend and all that good stuff. We last time covered some like not trend setting. What would I say? Like industry leading topics, things where Spotify people were getting hired over to Twitch and stuff like that. But this week a good thing we skipped a little. We've got some pretty exciting things that came out. We're going to talk about VODs being a little bit of hot water, which is kind of an open-ended sort of thing to get into. Twitch put out a small change to the way you can preview emotes in chat by clicking on them. We'll get into that. We're going to talk about DSLRs and how Canon's making some cool moves in the streaming space. Some news on a partner manager thing for my side and what that might mean for the show in the future. And we'll kind of wrap it up with talking about the hype train. But for future episodes, Nate and I, with all the crisis that's going on in the world, all the other stuff, kind of missed that Streamlabs had published Q1 stats for 2020. So we'll probably do that in our next episode, get into that, do a deep dive. I doubt we'll have time in this one, but it'll be fun to go back over all the stats, see where things changed and grew. And these ones are going to be the really exciting ones because they're going to have everything with people being at home. Like these are just going to be interesting metrics, very abnormal and out of the usual.
It's going to be really cool comparing the two from this, because I don't think this quarter, it's been going on for a month now, but technically that I don't think reflects the month that just happened. So it's going to be interesting to see. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see like the comparisons between what this has done for Twitch, because like one thing that like, people come into my channel and say is like, man, you make it feel like I'm still having a normal life, because like but it's because I feel like I'm having a normal life because I don't leave my house anyways.
Right. Isn't that wonderful?
It is. So they like it's really good. It's going to be interesting to see all those stats, and I'm looking forward to checking it all out.
Well, I am too. That's gonna be very, very cool. Let's jump into this one. This is kind of an interesting topic right off the bat, and this is with VODs on Twitch. They have always been an awkward spot since they were really introduced, and in this case, also talking about like reruns. So I am really bad at noticing whether a streamer is live or if it's a rerun. It's actually a running joke in my chat. I don't know if you've seen Guy there, but he'll always come in and go, "Is this stream live?" and makes a thing out of it, because there are a lot of streamers. He's a big Casey Tron fan. That's where I know him from. And there's a lot of streamers in that space that do, they record their thing or, they broadcast, but then they just replay it for hours. Well, that came to the light. I think it was Asmongold published a video. Did you happen to catch that one, Nate? This is a couple weeks back.
I didn't, but I've been here. Like, the thing is, I don't really get like, I still have like an eye on Twitch news, but when you're like kind of in your own world, you kind of do slip on some things. But I've seen like people around talking about it, and they're like, "Oh man, I can't believe they're doing VODs." Valorant was one of the things that came up. I saw Twitch talking about Twitch drops and all these other things, and I was like, yeah, like people run reruns all the time. That's fun. And people are like, no, they're not running reruns. They're literally rebroadcasting the thing so it shows they're live, so people can't get the drops because they don't get drops from reruns.
Yeah, so basically you're right. That's totally it, right on the money. So Asmongold did for those that don't know, huge World of Warcraft streamer who's I think on hiatus now. He's taken some time to himself, I believe, and that's why it's kind of interesting. He recorded this thing, him outside, just straight to the camera, talking about how he was watching the Valorant community and how it was the top of the directory there. It was just filled with these replayed videos. So Twitch on April 28th came out in their Twitch support account on Twitter saying, "We've heard concerns from creators continuously streaming VODs while tagging the channels as live to farm the Valorant drops. This harms the integrity of the drops program, so we've updated our community guidelines to clarify that cheating any Twitch reward system is prohibited." Then they went on to say, "We've got a number of questions about this, want to clear things up. This update is focused on the abuse of the reward system, such as drops, and does not impact other 24/7 or VOD streams not participating in reward system like TV marathons or past game broadcasts."
You know what's funny? I talked to Hakuna Matata about that. And one reason why it's so bad is they're literally robbing Twitch ad revenue. It's literally considered stealing because of how they don't have like running and stuff like that. That's what he brought up. That it's like pretty much kind of like stealing money from the company and stuff.
Wow.
That's one reason why they're like kind of freaked out by. They're like, okay, well, you know, like if it's something normal, but when people are like farming these drops and these giveaways and just redoing this, but they're doing it in a way where you have 80,000 people watching a VOD. It's one of those things where it's like, you know, like it's just AFK and they're letting it run. Like there's kind of a point where there's like the integrity of it and how people want to go about it. And the thing is like you can blame the broadcaster for it, but you also have to blame something like Valorant for it, the way that they kind of went about doing it. And then there's these, and this is one thing I try to preach to everyone that comes in, and they're like, oh man, I can get this copy of Doom Eternal for $2 online. And the way that they get it sometimes, like that's what they're doing right now, is they're farming these keys and they're selling it for like $20 a pop on like these third-party websites. And that's where like that's why it's such a big deal right now.
It is crazy. I mean, the money involved in that sort of thing. So for those, let's take a step back, because I feel like sometimes we get so jargony because you and I are like talking about all these upper level concepts. So for those that don't know, I mean, there's many different ways to talk about VODs and reruns on Twitch. Reruns are something that's under the dashboard, and good Lord, I can't even think of where they are at this point. I've never really run one myself, but definitely was close friends with people that did. A lot of the time rebroadcasting something that went on before, maybe because they're missing a stream night where they would usually be on, or, you know, for various reasons. I knew one, and she would do this so often that her audience kind of got pissy. I mean, this is the downside. This is the cautionary tale of VODs, that if you run them all the time, people do start to assume you're not really live when it shows you being live on the sidebar. So it's like, it just makes it questionable, you know, is seeing Kyle there, is he actually live, or is that just a repeat? So to warn anyone that's brand new to Twitch and thinking like, what are VODs? It's something to spend some time thinking about and deciding if it's up your alley or not, because, you know, there's some negatives that come with it. But this is massive. I mean, not only are they stealing that money, but it really strangleholds anyone else from growing on those charts. And I think that's what Asmongold really hit home with, was if you're sitting there with these many thousands of views and it's not even you doing the work, you could be sleeping for all anyone knows. It's just, you know, a rerun of your old content playing in some way, shape, or form. And now no one else on Twitch can get anywhere near the top directory. Which kind of begs the question, this is what I posted back to Twitch. I wrote, not that I expected any, you know, interest from them, but I said, just my opinion, but I think Twitch should really reconsider if VODs are appropriate in directories at all. Is Twitch a live streaming platform, or is it a VOD platform? Right now, it's an uncomfortable mix. And that's kind of my takeaway, is just that we've got these live videos, or with live streamers, you and me, doing stuff. But then next to us could be someone, you know, if we were in Valorant, that's strangling us out of the top of the charts, but they're definitely not there. Definitely a replay. Where does it shake down? How's the fairness? We all know algorithms on Twitch are in their baby stages. Everything is numbers still. Do you have any thoughts on that, Nate? What do we do, man? What do we do?
We have that guy that's like DOST, whatever he is, banana or something like that, in our directory for ESO that does that. He'll be like stream for like 36 hours and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have people like that. I mean, we are in the baby stages of it, and which is good. It's good and bad. Like, I honestly, like, if I would have to compare Twitch to something like YouTube has like a lot of discoverability, but you're also fighting not just gaming, you're fighting a whole bunch of stuff. And I do believe that Twitch is one of those platforms where when you do get to a point like when we talked about the golden rule of 40s, when you start, you know, getting a lot more people coming in and tracking in. And like, I think once you get to 100, you're really opening floodgates because now you're there. So I think it's easier. You just like put in time, get up there, and then it could be easier and stuff like that. But it is one of those things where people look at the top of the directories, people look at these things. And when you have these people that are just gaining people that are knowing that, okay, well, I'm just here to get Valorant keys and sell them. So now you're like sitting there and you have 80,000 people and the person's not even there. And then like, these Joe Smo, even though we talked about it, like you shouldn't be streaming too many games in the diluted market anyways, especially like in something like Valorant, but it makes it impossible for someone to climb up to that point. So I think you said it perfectly on there, because we're in a very awkward stage of, we have VODs, we have live streams. I feel like it should be more live streams, or maybe it shouldn't be. Maybe there should be like a separate algorithm so it shows who's actually live, and then maybe a box down below shows reruns.
Sure.
I have no clue.
No, I think this is not, by the way, me saying like purge all retained videos off of Twitch. If it's not live, kill it with fire. No, I'm just saying, yeah, with what you called out, it could be separated out. It could be a different part of the directory. It could be a tab at the top where it's like you drop into the directory and all the streams are live, but then if you click over to the next tab, it's all reruns that are in there, which would neglect those, but that's okay. I mean, those people aren't putting in the same work as the rest of the people that are live. Not to be rude, I don't mean that dismissively, but I mean it's factual. Like if they're at their PC grinding their butt off and you're taking a shower with the rerun on, there's a very different amount of workload. So maybe simple separation like that is the answer. But gosh,
that's why I'm glad.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's why I'm glad that they did update that, because the thing is like now you don't know if it's a rerun or if it is live, and that's like a huge thing. It's like the thing is like I don't think there's any issue with running reruns on your stream. I don't think there are. I'd much rather you be live or hosting someone, because I think that, but Twitch is honestly going to be killing the hosting feature here very soon. Like when you go to someone's page, especially with these new offline features, you won't even see who's hosting. You have to scroll through a couple times. So raids are like, I feel like they are phasing out hosting a little bit and stuff like that. But it's one of those things where you shouldn't say you're live while trying to rebroadcast what you're doing at that point in time. So,
and I mean, a lot of this goes down, I think you said it, is a lot of it has to do with kind of UI related things. I'll say this just anecdotally. So I have taken on the idea of I do clip videos when I go AFK. I think it's it lets people watch something interesting. I haven't been doing well at like varying them up lately. I need to take another stab at that and reset my stream deck. But I do these AFK videos and that confused people. So we got a marker on the stream. It's a picture of Louie, my dog, and he says, like, he has a speech bubble. It says Kyle's AFK. But I do come back a lot of the time to people still asking, is this live or not? Which just tells me, no offense to those people that are asking, but it's very interesting how you can raid into people or just stumble into a channel, even though it says very clearly in the center of the screen the person's AFK. It's just how our brain processes information, especially on Twitch. We're just much quicker to ask questions and stuff like that than actually read what's going on in the stream. It's or on the thing. It's really weird to kind of see that metric, but it is a real thing.
I think it's because of the live platform, and like I mean, people come to Twitch because they want that instant, hey, how's it going, Colin? Hey, what's up? It's good to see. They want that instant thing. So I think it's just like people's brains are trained to be on this website to think it's instantly live, and then be like, wait,
you're right.
Is this not live?
I think you're very, very right. And this happened to me. I raided into Dan's Gaming, good friend, during the, what's he do? His Halloween thing, right? Did you do like, was it Halloween?
Yeah.
Every day is like a replay of something. And I raided in there, and before even like the video loaded, right? Because of ads or whatever, I was like, hey guys, how's it going? And someone in the chat was like, this is a rerun, Kyle. And I was like, I don't know, man. I just raided into my friend. Like, don't eat me. I'm not here to fight. I'm just here to raid in. So it's kind of weird. I get that kind of animosity. Like Dan's Gaming is a person that does a great thing. He does that holiday event. It's around Halloween. It's all these horror game repeats from over the years. Very cool. I think that's a neat way to use it. But like we said, there's also times where you get streamers that just broadcast too many reruns to the point that people don't even know if they're live anymore. So the debate will continue. I'm certain of that. I'm sure Twitch will continue to post updates and things as they decide on this Valorant drops type of deal, because it's kind of feisty.
Yeah, that was definitely something. I mean, It hits close to home too, because we definitely utilize drops
We
a
do.
lot. So
We really, really do. So I know. I mean, and you and I, we gamify it too. Like I think you and I, drops are a great occasion to get a lot of viewers, to meet people that usually aren't on Twitch, and a great time to convince them to join your audience or actually stick with the platform. So it's a cool time. I guess maybe Twitch, kind of just thinking of it as we talk, maybe even Twitch should be concerned that, you know, if these VOD channels are the ones that are catching those new viewers that are coming to the platform, what does that make people think? You know, someone already is like, well, I don't know about this Twitch thing. I'm still not into it. Why would I watch someone play games? Then they go over there for the drops, and then their first experience is a VOD. Not the best first experience, so maybe something they're actually thinking of. That might be a concern too. But that's speculation for another day. Want to move on to something so inconsequential, but also worth noting?
absolutely.
So on April 30th, Twitch support says, curious about that emote in chat? Now you can click on the emote and learn where it came from and how you can get it. Emote cards are now available on mobile and web. And I've got to say, I actually really, really like this. You just click on it. It gives more information about that streamer. We kind of had these features through things like FFZ and BTTV, I think both added something like that where you could like enlarge it when you scrolled over the emo. But now having a full pop-out card that shows what which streamer it is, you can follow and subscribe right from there. Nice and handy. Little UI tweaks along the way.
Yeah, that is really nice. I've been using Better Twitch TV and Franker Z for such a long time that like I didn't even think about that. I was like, oh yeah, that sounds really cool. I thought we've already had that. Come on, Twitch. Yeah, because
right?
like honestly, Frank, like because and I mean even it's crazy. One of my good friends who comes into my broadcast and hangs out every once in a while is a Twitch staff member, and I taught him about Franker Z and Better Twitch TV. He is Pepe Hansing and Monica Essing all over the place, dude. He loves it now.
My, that's amazing. I'm glad you taught him about that. That's really cool.
It's really good. That goes out for a lot of you guys, especially some of the new people kind of looking in. Yeah, I would look into Franker Z and Better Twitch TV, which is a Chrome extension. I'll look into that as well too, because that will help you. Like I don't know, the veteran broadcasters all kind of know about Franker Z or in it. So
yeah, Franker Face Z, FFC, and that's the one I recommend you start with. I started the opposite with BTTV, whatever it's called, and that's actually kind of baked into FFC, which is why I tell you to go about that way, guys. If you're looking into it, you can actually, I don't think you need to have BTTV installed as a Chrome extension now, unless this has changed, but you used to be able to like sub-install it, like an add-on directory sort of thing through FFC, which was nice. Saves you a little bit of browser resources for that hungry Chrome machine everyone's running. Speaking of like web changes and stuff, I should also point out, I didn't have this in the notes, but today, 6 hours ago, Twitch announced that the channel pages are rolling out to viewers. Nate and I covered this a few weeks back, but those are the really awesome and much-needed changes, including a space on your page for a bio, including breakout, like, social media links that actually have the icon next to it. So it's pretty. You don't have to do that in your panels. Of course, this is all opt-in. So if you've got your own system and want to keep it, you can. But bio with social links, set a channel trailer, which I definitely did not record, as I promised you I would forget to do. And a stream schedule, which is really badass. You can actually set the games and what day of the week you plan on doing that game. So really, really nice. Especially, like, I'm looking forward to it with divvying up my time between ESO now and Fallout 76. So like that could be kind of nice to have that tool to roughly delineate for some people. Like, this is when I'll be on ESO, that's when I'm on this. And I got to kill, I was paying for a little calendar plugin on my website, and I got to unsubscribe from that. So woohoo.
Hey, when does that supposed to roll out? Do they say a date?
Is currently rolling out to viewers over the coming weeks. So yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna make my video tomorrow then.
Yeah.
By the way, I do have a couple videos I would love to either post up or show you. One of my friends, Kazler, who's used to be an animated dog kind of character thing.
I remember.
But he's a really good-looking dude, and he moved to having like a face cam. He shot his whole thing, and it was like the most mind-blowing like production I've seen, and like I think he is a role model for it. So I would love to
Really?
like show you and maybe tweet it out or
Oh,
something and like
please.
put it out there. But yeah, it was really good. I really need to get working on it. And that's why I'm so glad I'm getting a second camera so I can do it and not have to take my A-roll camera for my stream off and then do flip back and forth
Yeah.
between all of them. So I'm super happy about
I
that.
definitely want to see that example because that's my whole thing is I'm not sure where I want to go with the channel trailer. Like it could be for those that want to do it easy and utilize it. It really truly could be as simple as you guys taking a clip compilation video, you know, taking some of your like coolest, funniest, like most descriptive about you, happiest moments and throwing it into a video. That could be as simple as you make it. But I am interested to see, like you're saying, I want to see what the higher production's going to. I want to see what it's like when people are taking the camera away from their desk and they're not in their same setup. Like I think maybe you're hinting at, not sure.
Mhm.
But if you're getting that extra one, I'm guessing you're not doing it at your desk.
No, I'm definitely I'm gonna have like my setup behind me. It's gonna be awesome. But
Nate will be
the
in
only
bed,
thing-
scantily clad.
it met with
Good
my
channel trailer,
my
though.
polar bearskin rug.
I'd subscribe.
The thing is, the one thing I'm really worried about though is how many people are actually technically going to look at this. Because how much effort do you really need to put in? Do you need to put in all this effort? Is it going to be one of those things like that's going to go completely unnoticed? Like when they did the VODs where you can make like highlight clips and upload your own videos of that stream and nobody watched them.
No.
So like I'm wondering to know, like I want to know, like it would be cool if they let us have like a system to tag our video like ESO, MMO, variety and stuff like this and give us a limited amount of tags so that way people could potentially find us a little easier. That'd be dope.
You know, I will call out. I will say I'm pretty happy. We talked about their algorithm being in the baby stages, but I do more and more find people coming into the channel being like, I got you through recommended. And I'm like, that's awesome. That's good. That's at least, you know, getting people and people are clicking into it. That's the most important thing. Because I sure have a Twitch recommended section that I never look at because I never, ever, ever go to the homepage of Twitch on my own. I'm just never there. I always search. I always put in the Google or the Chrome bar. I go Twitch ESO and I go straight to my directory. Might as well have a bookmarked at this point. But yeah, I'm glad that those are being seen. So I'm hoping what you're saying is hope they see it.
Mine's being seen a lot, especially now that my average viewership's like closer to like 200. It's like they like people are like, hey, you're on the front page. That's how I found you. Hey, like I'm like getting it like so much, and that's where it is, where it's like the doors are opening up. They're like, yeah, we found you in the small streamer, but it also could be because I'm still affiliate, which we're very close to partnership and letting you guys know. I did just recently get denied, but it was because everything was good and they just want to see a little bit more. So we're almost there. I can taste the sweet nectar of partnership. So we're really close to it. But yeah, no. So they're like, yeah, you're in the small community, which is weird because you're like, you were sitting there with like 200 views and everyone else at 35. I was like, well, yeah, I have no clue how they run that algorithm, but it's so good. But I'm glad people are like clicking me from front page and the recommendation. I think what they do is they just find the games and like similar tags and they just like list up what's there. So I'm hoping that's what's going on.
Probably. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting. I'm going through switching, you know, to a 50-50 schedule between ESO and 76. And I'm curious, like that's been really cool to meet some of the 76 audience too. And I think one or two of them said recommended. So I was kind of surprised that actually clicked over so quickly. Although maybe part of that's due to the fact that we share a large audience between those two games. So I don't know. But I was like, wow. I was already in the recommended for a game that I just was starting to stream versus like had been long entrenched into. So come on, Twitch, keep that thing going.
Yeah, mine did the same thing because like me and you share a pretty decent sized audience. And I think most of your viewers are from Fallout 76. So since I didn't even watch it before, it was already throwing me like recommended for Fallout 76.
Wow, that's fascinating. Yeah, those metrics are just really, really interesting. I wish I knew more, but I'm going to skip down one over the DSLR for a sec, if that's okay, because we're on the topic. But so I had my first call with a partner manager today for Twitch, and he was an awesome dude. We got along so well. We blew through, like, we'd set aside like 30 minutes for a call. We blew through that in what felt like seconds. So we're going to get back on next week. But a couple things to call out here. I mean, one, I said to him, I was like, it was interesting. He just got hired on board with Twitch about two or so months ago. in the, under that umbrella, what we talked about before, they were trying to get more staffers to manage all the partners they had. You and I discussed this in the past, where there just wasn't enough managers to go around. And so they would say, just use the general help submission form. So, I mean, even as a partner, you're just using the generic one. And the services that the partner managers offer, very, very interesting. So he was offering things like, you're always welcome to ping me and we'll get in touch. We'll go over analytics if you ever have questions about that. You're more than welcome to share feedback through me. If you ever have a problem, you can put in a ticket and I will track it for you to make sure it's resolved. Like, it was some really cool, really awesome features that Twitch maybe should have for more and more people. And I did tell him that. I said it was really awkward before you got here. I mean, I'm so excited about this because I'd been in the dark since January 2019. I just had no contact. Actually, it was Ninja614's partner manager that would poke me every once in a while and be like, you want to get on the homepage for this day? You want to do this, that, and the other? And so I would have to ride shotgun in Ninja's partner manager situation. It was awkward. But it was his partner manager that introduced me to mine. Cool news. We're going to be on the homepage for the ESO release on May. I always say the wrong thing. May 26th, homepage day. So that's going to be fun. I don't have details yet about that, but man, it's going to be a cool week for ESO. And that kind of brings me into the area that it's so necessary for them to have these partner managers, because it was opening my eyes to the idea that being on the homepage doesn't have to be a rare thing. Like, for me in this last year, it was something I got to do once for the Elsewhere release for ESO, and then again, 2 weeks later for Pride Month. But outside of that, I had no hopes or expectations to do it. There is this forum that you can submit to get on the homepage, but no one ever responded to me, and I filled it out in September or July of 2019, somewhere in that window. But having these managers, they can actually look out for events for you, and they'll, if once they know what you're into and what your channel is about more and more, they'll start tossing your name into the ring for just different opportunities. And that's why I say I'm really happy that Twitch is finally reaching out and doing more of that. They're finally beefing up the staff, because that's just something that so many people don't have access to. I mean, gosh. That's a big feature to miss out on. So really happy for this guy. I'm really hopeful maybe in the future you and I could poke him about getting someone on the show here to talk about something. So if anyone out there has any preference of what Nate and I might poke a Twitch staffer about, if anyone would be interested in coming on in the future, if you guys have something you're really interested in particular, that a Twitch staffer would have insight to, and you think they would be able to talk about, keep that NDA stuff in mind. They can't share everything. But if you guys have that, feel free to email it to us or tweet it at us. All that information is in the description below or in the podcast show notes, wherever you're listening to this. But patthepartner@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. I just like to know, get an idea, hopefully by this upcoming Wednesday. So send it in before May 13th, and I'll try and compile that and pass that along if we could maybe poke them to get somebody on here.
Yeah, I'm glad that you got a partner manager, and I'm glad I talked to people and they're like, yeah, they're adding a lot more people in. And that's what I've been hearing about, because I literally emailed them after this most recent denial, because I counted all my numbers and everything were perfect. I was well above average. I'm still waiting for an email back. So I think the thing is, I think they're growing really quickly, and I think they have growing pains, and they don't want to overstaff, and they don't want to understaff. They're trying to find people that are qualified to do this, and all these other things, to try to run a tight ship that's still good. So I'm really excited about it. That's good news. I'm glad you finally got someone, because that shows hope for the whole company. And
that's what I'm most excited for. And I got to tell him, I was like, dude, we haven't, he asked me what kind of my growing pains were. And I talked about how, what our directory is like. He actually talked about this really cool idea of getting together kind of a support group of streamers. He's like, I want to see some of my partners get them together into Discord calls every once in a while, share ideas. And I was like, I love that, man. That's really, really cool. Share between. He doesn't want to get people. He's really thinking about it. Doesn't want to get people that are just MMO players together. He's like, I want to do an FPS, an MMO, a simulator game, and throw them together, because your directories are so different. you know, every time you talk to another MMO player, it is true. Like you and I, you, me, and Ninja, we always talk together, so we always know the same information at the same time, which makes us kind of blind at times to what's going on in, you know, what's that radical change in the Fortnite community like? Yeah, I don't know.
That's why I spend. I mean, for the most part, coming from the variety background roots and having like all those friends in there is like I have a plethora of them. But once it's like that thing. It's like when you put your head down, because as broadcasters, you got to have a consistent schedule.
Yeah,
be in your bubble, head down, do what you do. You raid over, you talk for about 15 minutes in other people's broadcasts, and you're like, whoa, I got stuff I got to do to try to keep maintenance of the ship.
So true.
So it's like, it's so rough. It can be really, really rough to kind of get everything where it needs to be. So, yeah, it's still one of those things where it's like in the MMO, you still get in there, but I still kind of know what's going on, but I don't at the same time. So I think that's a wonderful idea.
I liked he got that too. I told him, I said, I feel like I'm old and curmudgeonly, like streamer man on my front porch yelling about getting off my lawn. Because I said, you know, I've been streaming now full time for over a year, and I've been on the platform for 3. It's like I told him it's crazy going from that full time job where you can kind of like, you know, what I was doing, I could poke in during the day and see what like Classy Katie or other streamers might be up to. But then, you know, now it's like as soon as my 8 hours are up, I'm like, my butt hurts. I need to get up. I need to stretch. I need to eat. I've been hungry for like 6 hours now. Like, you know, it's that sort of life. Like, I just want Netflix and sleep. Netflix and sleep.
Oh,
no chilling.
Man, I know. It's funny. Someone came into my broadcast today and was like, how do you keep like a consistent stream being home? Because, you know, they're still at home work and stuff like that. I was like, honestly, man, I don't think you realize how much talking 8 hours a day takes the energy out of you, man. I was like, I'm like even right now, I'm like sitting there, like I'll start spacing. I'm like, oh, whoa, Nate, like stop spacing out because I stream still on Wednesdays, and yeah, so it can be rough, but at the same time, it's the most rewarding thing ever. Like there's something about firing up your broadcast, looking down and seeing, you know, like within the first 40 minutes, getting up to like 100 viewers, and you're just like, wow, 100 people want to see me. This is so crazy.
Yeah. And I got into some interesting Twitter conversations today too, with people. Oh, we could do that, and oh, we should so do an etiquette one. I just thought about it now because I saw a little notification, but I got into some really interesting ones. Someone was sharing etiquette tips today. I don't know how it got just like a lot of shares, likes, retweets. Then it was very interesting about what should and shouldn't be said in chats, and some people, you know, arguing hard the opposite. I'm just really enthused for all of Twitch right now from pretty much every angle. You know, the things they've created. We'll talk hype trains again here in a second, down to them hiring more staff, down to just what everyone's buzzing about. It's a hype time again, my dude. I'm very happy.
I'm very excited about it too, because they're literally there for like 2 months. There wasn't that much going on. I was like, oh no, I love talking about this stuff, but
rough.
I mean, we can just repeat ourselves over and over and over just to push out content, but we'd much rather give you like higher value content.
Yeah, real stuff. So to wrap up with the partner manager thing, I will say he had a lot of questions about the hype train. We've been using that super effectively on my stream. It has been amazing. Thank you to everyone in this chat. I know there's people watching us live on YouTube right now that definitely are huge contributors to those hype trains. So thank you very much, everyone. But he had tons of questions about it because he was like, I can see in your finances you have a noticeable uptick in this thing. And I was like, well, you know, we're using the system you guys gave us. And so I'm compiling a big email. He asked for feedback. So I'm doing a big one, breaking it down. You know, it's kind of a long sheet already. But like, what are the pros and cons? What are the weaknesses? What needs to be changed? Like critically, I said critical issue for it. It's always got to be fresh. You got to keep that train. Like it's got to have new emotes. You guys are going to need to roll out new features. Otherwise, it will die and become boring like everything. Kind of like we talked, highlights just never really took off. You know, channel points have I don't even hear anyone talking about channel points now. No one's asking for them to be turned on. No one's asking where they are when they're turned off. I feel like that's already gone. But hype trains are keeping people pumped. This month, we actually are doing something neat on my channel where we're doing a sticker in addition. So like when people get one of those conductor badges, they're going to get something physical in the mail. Because I've been having tons of requests over time, and I thought, what's a cool way to tie together some achievements with something that's going to pay for itself? So shipping costs. I just spent $100 on stickers. Like they're not They're not cheap for anyone wondering. Stickers are expensive. So
Especially die cut ones.
yeah. Well, and those are the nice ones too. So those are the only ones I'll do. If they're not die cut, they're not for me. But yeah, so that I thought that's a nice way to kind of balance it out. It's going to reward people that can give, and then I can actually financially afford to send stuff out. But Twitch is very interested in hearing what you guys are doing about hype trains, what your criticisms are, what your anything. So if you guys want to include that in an email, like I said, just looking for a lot of different feedback. What you guys want us to do, if we can have someone from Twitch on the show, like what topics you'd like, and then again, whatever you think about hype trains, good or bad. Because I've got a lot of good to say.
You're killing it. The way you're doing the hype train is phenomenal, man. Like the choo choo like noises. I'm like, I watched it and I was like, this son of a gun is doing this so amazing, man. Like you did it. You did a good job with it. Like you did a really. This mine. I'm like people like come in, I'm like, oh, here's a scam train, and then people like donate, but I'm one of those people that feel absolutely terrible. I'm like, I don't know how to be like, yeah, hype train's here, come on, let's do it. Reach into your pockets. Like, I don't let that. But you did it in a way where it's not like that. It's like, oh, there's like all this like stuff's popping up on your screen, and there's trains and whistles, and like you can't even see the screen, and people are going nuts, and like, oh my god, Kyle, take my biddies.
Take my biddies. So here's an interesting feedback stat though for you guys. This isn't so much something I'll give over to Twitch, but it is true. I play it up like crazy. It always results in about a 10 to 20 decline in viewership, though. So that's kind of the weird thing about selling yourself on the internet, right? We always talk about this. But it's interesting because most of the chat is having a hell of a time and everyone's loving it. And it's paying for itself. Like it is, in my opinion, the true coming together of like, this is me streaming because I love it. And people are giving back because they love it. And together, it's just like this insane like outpouring of excitement and yelling. But that turns some people off too. Some people are like, I just want a chill time.
Yeah. Have you seen that if someone it's the first time donating or gifting a sub, and I'm not sure if it's on Twitch or just in your chat, but like recently I've had a lot of new people that come in and like, you're the only broadcaster I watch on Twitch right now. Like I've came in for drops. Yes. And now I only watch you. And then like they gifted a sub, and on the little gray area said this is their first sub gifted, or this is the first gifted sub in chat. Have you seen that yet?
Not that one. But I don't. You know what? I don't read the standard Twitch chat, so that's probably why.
Yeah, I usually. Well, I mean, I keep it up because of better Twitch TV. But I was looking over it, and I was like, whoa! Well, I was like, this literally says. I don't know if anyone else sees it or we see it, but yeah, I noticed it like the other day as well too.
Princeton chat says you have to embody your inner Casey Tron, and it is true. I have taught my chat this phrase. Quote, subbers, gifters, donors, give me your money, end quote. That's a good Casey Tron one that I've stolen. And now they know it too, and they yell it during the train. So Casey Tron, thank you for teaching me how to shake my audience for all of their biddies.
It's so funny because it's like, I know Casey Tron is fantastic. I've heard some of her comebacks to people. Like they're so good. And like she does it, but she does it in a way where she makes it like a meme, and then you're like, yeah. 5 subs, why not? It's $25. Here you go, Casey Tron.
She did a video. Did you see her Twitter post from like yesterday or something about this?
Oh no,
I
did not.
Clip of her VOD. She's got a not a whiteboard, but those big pullover sheets of paper for presentations, and she has all these ways that people can make money, and she's yelling about how. She's not saying it, but she's implying that you should sell your body to make her Twitch money. And she's like, do I need to spell out what your services are? She's like, and then she freaks at the end. I don't care what you do. Just give me my money. And just like freaking yells. Like you said, she memes it up and it works every time. But people are,
the thing.
They get in on the joke.
She makes it a joke. Yeah. And you're just like, and like when you're in on the joke, like there's 2 types of people in this. People on Twitch that watch her. People that think she's completely serious, and people that are in on the joke that see these people that think she's serious. So what you do is you give subs, and these people that think she's serious are like, why would you give her money? And then you just keep giving her money because she is a business woman.
She is a businesswoman, and I also realized that we give Casey Tron the most airtime. time over this.
Oh, I know.
We're like,
I know.
maybe
She's
we should
brilliant.
should we just change this to be like the Casey Tron fan club podcast? Like, get this straight. We kind of accomplished it. Chat's talking about
We
it.
need to get Casey Tron on the Path of Partner podcast, please.
Oh my god! Her lessons that she'd teach. Just a warning in advance. Maybe don't follow the one she said. If she feels like she's a character, don't follow those ideas. But she is truly she leads it in crazy ways. So kudos to her. Kudos this crazy hype train stuff. Play it up. Don't be afraid to be you for your audience. The people that don't like you are going to leave. It's fine. They're not going to stay anyway. And you definitely don't want them trying to meld you into who they want you to be. So play it up for the people that you like. Be what those people want.
That is so, this whole, now I do PvP. Well, the thing is a couple people have come in and they've tried to change me into this toxic being. And I'm like, I'm not toxic. And they're like, well, don't you care that you're losing in PvP from time to time? Or someone comes in and they're like, hi, I just teabagged you. I'm like, yeah, you did. That was really good, man. And people are like, why aren't you upset about it? I'm like, man, listen, that's not who I am. I can't get upset about this. It's a video game, man.
It's
I'm here for the entertainment value, not to be good at a game.
It's
so I love it, man.
true.
So don't let anyone mold you to be where you stay yourself and you try to keep going. The more comfortable you are, the more people will respect that. So you do you.
Now, can I know we haven't done the DSLR conversation. Maybe we should let's do the DSLR next, and then I have a little bit of draw I'm gonna wrap up the show with. So if that works for you, let's talk about this camera, because this is actually pretty freaking exciting. The streaming space has been missing good cameras outside of the C920 or whatever it's called.
Yeah. So if anyone's ever been thinking, oh man, I'd really love to get a DSLR camera, but then you look and you're like, oh, a Cam Link's $150. The camera's it's I can maybe shell out the $250 or $300 for a used one, or I could, maybe you can even get the new one for $500 with a lens. But then you're like, man, the rest of that, then adds up $500. Then you buy another lens for it, and that's another $150. And then the $150 Cam Link. Well, Canon, who has a really good camera, they have a really good color and stuff on their lens and stuff. They just now released a beta that if you have a camera that is in the beta list, you can download software and you can take your I think it might be either HDMI mini to 3.0 USB, or it's just USC to USB thing. And once they put that out there, you can just plug it straight in. So now you can skip buying a Cam Link or skip buying a capture card, and you can use any of the cameras on the list and just plug it in. Plus, they have now, one of their biggest issues that they had was they didn't have a camera that had clean HDMI output, which is what you need so you can have autofocus and it can kind of frame you up and do everything. Well, most other people, I have to have it just stationary. So I have one set focal length, and if I move out of it, it'll get blurry. If I move forward, it'll get blurry. But now with the Canon SL3 that's new, that's out, it is made just for it's pretty much made for broadcaster. It has 30 frames and it has 60 frames. I think it goes all the way up to 120 at 1080p, and it has 24 frames at 4K. And so they completely blew it out of the water. Canon's making the step forward. They're realizing that there's a huge market for DSLR cameras for broadcasters, and trying to take the next step in order to make everything a lot more seamless for us, so we can cut out companies like Elgato, which is kind of a price gouger on their prices with a lot of stuff.
That is true. Yeah, I like that better as well, because I got that Canon for YouTubing right around Christmas, and I really, really like it. But it makes me sad that the current camera I have is a Lumix G7. Now, it is a really nice camera, but it suffers from the idea that, I can't interchange the lenses. I got it because at the time, this is before the Cam Link 4K was out, and that older Cam Link sucked. Mine would have issues where if the computer had any sort of blue screen, which mine was having at the time, I would have to unplug and physically replug that thing in. It didn't work. So until I replaced it with a 4K Elgato Cam Link, it was a nightmare. And again, it forced me into this camera that I like, but I don't know how to work it. And it's not great for photos outside of this. Someone out there probably loves their G7 and that's fine. But I was looking at it comparatively with some vlogging cameras and it just didn't compare. It's really good for what it does, but I would have gone with a Canon if I had the choice. And now that's hella tempting. If I have to replace this guy in the next couple years, it's definitely going to be Canon.
Yeah, the whole thing is I still have the 4K cam link and I'm still going to continue using it. But by the time that they get this software up and get it through beta and get it to where it needs to be, if I have any issues, I can do it. And then the cool part about using a Canon is I think like M50s, I'm not sure if they use the actual lenses, like the real lenses in their whole lineup, or they use a special lens.
Yeah, they're special for that.
Yeah, so with the Canon SL, you can literally get yourself a 15, or well, I guess I think it was like a $5,000, $6,000 lens, and you can put it on that little body of an SL2 or an SL3.
Oh yeah,
and that's really cool is that they have the features that if you do want to upgrade later. And like I've been a fan of Canon. The only thing I didn't like was I was like, man, there's no clean HDMI output, but I ended up buying it anyways, and I was very sad about it. And then like, but now they see the market, they see there's an opening, and they swooped in. And I mean, you'll see it in Alpha Gaming, Epoch's Vox. We'll talk about it. We're talking about it here. It's some big news because, like I said, it's saving you $150. It's undercutting stuff. It's making it more accessible. And now these companies like Panasonic or Sony now have to look at themselves and be like, whoa, we really need to do something to catch up because Canon's going to blow it all. Like when I purchased the SL3, which I just literally purchased like maybe a couple days ago, said there's 30 left in stock. So I bought it. So yeah, okay. I was like, wow, okay. It says there's only 27 left in stock. They're sold out now because it's a hot commodity for streamers now because the lenses are cheap, but they're really nice. So I'm really excited about it. I'm glad people are starting to realize that they can help broadcasters out and make it a lot easier for us.
That is actually very, very cool. I like that whole camera space, and I don't know, I like my Canon a lot better than my Lumix. Sorry, Panasonic fans, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not really me. So cool beans. I'm in, man. If I got to replace this one, I'm definitely going to go Canon in the future, especially when it's out of that beta. And I guess, yeah, leaving off saying, Elgato, lower your prices, man. Some of your products are... You know that Stream Deck Mini? You know that like 6-button one? I did the rough math at the time. Like buying one of those was only saving you like $20 or $30 off of buying like the real, like the standard edition one, with the normal one, the, what's this, 5x3, the 15 key one. And it was like price to price, it was like embarrassingly different. I'm like, you guys are just so price gouging with this stuff. Like,
yeah, I felt so bad. I sat there and I looked forever for these key lights, and I looked and I looked and I didn't want to fit. I wouldn't want to fork because you can get lighting that's high quality, amazing lighting for really cheap, like $50 for the exact same type of lighting. The only thing is this, you can change the color temperature and everything to what I would like it to look like. And they're LED panels. So they're like cool. Yeah. So I could find like some other ones, but I didn't want to get up and adjust them. And like, you know, I would have to reach behind my desk and do this. So I had forked out 400. That's astronomical for for two key lights.
I have one. I can agree. I'm looking at it. It is one of my bigger stream shame purchases. It's not even a direct light on me. It's a bouncing light off the wall. I actually think it's really ugly to look at them. They're too bright for my eyes. It's a me thing. Yeah. It's not everyone. Not everyone's going to have that problem, but I hate playing video games with lights shining in my eyes. So I've got my box lights like kind of out of my peripherals a little bit or on the far edges. So it's not like I'm looking, but those key lights are rough. And like you said, $200 per light. I bought myself some new ones. This is the convenience factor you're talking about there. I got two when I bought that camera. I think they were $150 for a set of two. They are basically the same thing as the key light, just that you have to physically turn it on and off, which is a poor man's solution. If anyone out there wants to know, you can easily get, if you've got like an Alexa or a Google Home, you get one of those enabled switches, plug them into that or plug a surge protector into that. Yeah, and I just tell it to turn my lights on and off.
That is a 9,000 IQ move. The only reason why I really like them,
got that from an old school podcaster.
Yeah, the reason why I like them though is because like my heat has been cut down because I used to use fluorescent lights.
Yeah.
So it's just like I can sit in here and be completely happy and like So I'm loving it. So it's kind of worth it.
I probably should actually. Those other ones are sitting in the other room since I'm not vlogging with them. I should bring them in here and swap them out. But you know what the worst thing in the world is, streamers? Readjusting your lighting, because once you have it right, it will never be that good again. So count your blessings.
Or camera. And then once you get your camera to the perfect spot, please don't. That's why I'm spent $500 on a body for a different camera, so I don't have to take it on and off, because it is such a pain to adjust your camera
That
angles.
last time you did it, Nate recorded something and we got on here. I think it took you about an hour to get it reconfigured, which is normal. That's normal. Like, it takes about an hour to get your stuff back together after you disassemble it. It just sucks. We need a simpler solution.
That's why literally, like, it may have been the most unnecessary purchase. Like, I could have taken on, but I think it's worth every $500 or every dollar that was in that, man, because it was needed. But what was that drama that we were talking about?
So let's wrap it up with this one for this week. I just wanted to, I guess it's kind of timely because we are still in the middle of the crisis. And we talked about this weeks ago, saying, you know, there was going to be a time where we probably saw some of this affecting Twitch chat. And I think I actually had two in the matter of about 2 or 3 days. People that came into my stream, longtime viewers that were both independently, these two situations are almost identical, but they happened apart, where they like expressed how they couldn't be a part of my community anymore, and how like we had helped them in the past, but now they're one of them didn't like, I was telling a story about my dad and how he and I weren't talking to each other right now because of other stuff. But he's like, I heard you talking about your dad and I realized I can't live without my family, and so I can't be around you anymore. And yada, yada, yada. And I was like, okay, this is not a me thing. Like, I make no apologies. You know, I shared about my dad yesterday. I don't know what it triggered in you, my dude, but I hope you seek friends and help and like talk to somebody, because don't go it alone. It was very strange.
I got something like that too. We got to talk after broadcast.
Okay.
Because where it was just like out of nowhere. It's like you triggered something in me and I can't be around. But then they slipped back in recently. So I'm kind of wondering what's going on. So we'll have to do it. But that's the thing is, like, if you guys are out there and this stuff like this happens,
it does.
It's the longer you're doing it, the way more you get it. The only thing is, I feel like I haven't gotten it as much lately. Like, I feel like I'm kind of pushing it out or something like that, but it'll come back. It definitely will.
You're never immune to it. And then 2 days later, like I said, someone came in. They'd actually had just been in the chat like the day prior saying, you know, thank you so much. You got me through all this cancer treatment. Like, I was lurking and doing all this while I couldn't do other stuff. You guys made my life so happy. But then they came in the next day and they got really weird about it. And they're like, I'm giving up on everyone from my old life. I'm moving on. Thanks for the time. I'm leaving you. And I was like, it was weird, and I'm in the middle of fallout, and that's, like you said, it's one of those situations you kind of become like a therapist for someone in your chat. It's weird because I'm always worried. I try and be this ultra modern dude that like respects and understands mental health things, even when I'm not a master of that field. Like, I try to be very sensitive and accommodating of that, and I always try and drive home the point that, like, please don't go alone. I don't care if you follow me again or not, like, even if what I say offends you, but still, I need you to go talk to somebody right now. Because the cancer treatment one, she was not making decisions that were in her best judgment. Like, she was talking about chopping out whole segments of her life. And I was like, I really hope you don't make decisions right now. Like, just take a night, relax, think about it. Because it was just very atypical, very scary, if you will. Like, one of those moments where you have to keep your composure on stream, but you also know you're dealing with someone that's like highly volatile. And so weird.
With this time, especially nowadays, and this is one thing that they always talk about with like all the stuff that's going on and why there's such a need for, like, you know, you really need to check on people because their mental status. A lot of people aren't like us, where we're solitary type of people, where we have a Twitch chat and we stream, we talk and do stuff, but we like to recharge and stay by ourselves. Because I do believe a lot of Twitch broadcasters like this perfect extrovert introvert type people. Right. The thing is, a lot of people need stuff to like coping mechanisms of being like, oh, like, I need to keep busy, I need to do this. The scariest thing is when you're by yourself thinking and you have time, a little voice in yourself will always kind of start critiquing you and you'll bring yourself down in your head. So what that's one of the scariest things. And sometimes, but that's where as a streamers, we have a hard time because we don't know, we can't, it's hard to depict if someone's really doing this for
Yeah.
like they're actually going to hurt themselves, or they're going to reach out, or they're doing it to try to get like the all
Solicit
chat to pity them.
yes,
Yeah, you know,
solicit a
yeah, like,
reaction. Yeah.
that's why, like, I legit have like in my side of my desk, I have a little thing that has suicide prevention hotline, the Trevor Project, you know, like all those lists for things. So if someone does have it, I literally I'll just go in there and type the number in and I send it to them and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, I can't like talk to you about this on broadcast. You gotta understand, like, I'm trying to do something, and like it's because it's like, you know, but I was like, I really am here for you. This is a number you can do, and that. But there's not too much, because the thing is, it's like I've had people that come back in and they're like, oh, I was like, was that you that did it? Yeah, it was me. I'm sorry. I was like, I just wasn't thinking. And it's like, well, why'd you make like a fake account and pretend you were someone else to like do this? Like, you'll have weird situations, and it sucks because like if someone really is in need, now you're like crying wolf to the point where if someone's in need, it's like it's hard to really change the chat around and do what you got to do.
It is, and this is probably a whole other conversation for another day, but I would love to dive into the idea. Like Prince in chat saying, the whole situation with both of those individuals that Kyle had was stressed me out as a viewer. Can't imagine dealing with it as a streamer. It is something we could dive into. Like you said, there is some crying wolf. There's definitely real stuff out there, especially in this time. You know, like you said, I can't imagine lots of people at home doing life like they've never done it before. So definitely a real thing. At the same time, you know, I had to ban the one of the two because I felt so uncomfortable. They started to move into the territory of I wish I could date you, and you know, all that sort of stuff. And so they had stopped talking in chat. They were no longer responsive to me at the end of the night. I was like, I need to not have that person coming back, even if it is in 2 months. They are crossing some lines that, like, I provided them the help I could and told them what the, you know, next steps would be beneficial. Didn't try to, you know, parent them too hard. But just, you know, it's like people are definitely going to form some unhealthy connections nowadays. So as a streamer, be really careful while you're out there. That doesn't mean to say, you know, walk around with your shields up all the time, but like, do always be cautious of who you're sharing information with. Do be very wary, or like, we could have a whole episode on just how to deal with those crises in chat. But it's one of those things, you definitely want to try and give them the best advice, which is to seek help. But it definitely stresses your chat out, and it's definitely a selfish move on their part. I don't mean that to sound like an a-hole, but like it's selfish in the sense that they're coming and they're just dumping this whole load of something on you as a streamer who is not qualified to handle that situation. So as streamers, just be careful. Like Nate said, that's a great idea to have those numbers handy so you can just share them if you need them. But I do unfortunately imagine, not to be the Debbie Downer in the room, but I imagine it's going to get tougher and tougher over the next couple months with that sort of thing. You know, a lot of people are going to have those sort of issues coming out more and more. So stay strong, streamers. Keep your heads up. Keep fighting the good fight. And yeah, just always try and give people some good advice if you can in those situations.
Yeah, and remember that you're not an expert as well too. So that's why I say, like, definitely give them the numbers, try to get them where they need to get to, because one of the worst things that would ever happen is somehow something fell back upon you. So give them as much general advice as possible. But even when I do try to give people like somewhat type of advice that's very general, it's like people will only accept it if they want to accept it, and then people do get really into it. So the best thing I can say is, you know, try to understand the balance. Don't try to get too wrapped up into it, because like it can be really weird. It can be really weird. Like, I mean, so that's all I got.
Yeah, no, that's really it. Like Nate said, you know, my advice to them when I say general is always speak to somebody. Do not be alone right now. Like call family, call whomever that you like to talk to. Call this number. I know none of them are going to do it. Like in my heart, I just know none of them are going to come to your stream chat and then go call the Trevor Project or something. I wish, but we're living in reality for a second and saying, nah, they probably just bopped over to someone else's stream and shit talked how you didn't like didn't coddle them enough or something. I don't know. But it is that thing. You said it too, Nate. You got to be careful about yourself too. You know, as a streamer, I've had a lot of people try and bring me down, especially in the last couple months. Hasn't happened for a while, to what you said earlier. But, you know, I talked about, I had a guy that tried to come in and, you know, tell me he wanted to cast me for a TV show or some crazy stuff like that. And he was just like a pathological liar. Like, I don't think anyone can help that dude. He's probably lying to his family IRL right this minute. But he was a danger to myself and others. Like he was definitely a guy that was trying to like rope me into committing to projects that didn't exist. So it's that sort of thing. You got to look before you leap all the time. Nate and I have talked this with sponsorships and all the other, but happy to do more episodes about this sort of stuff in the future and kind of ways to handle that, mitigate it. Could be fun to have someone on the show that actually deals with that sort of thing too, to give some general feedback as well. So,
yeah, bro.
Whew. Oh, yeah. That could be very interesting.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, he podcasts too, so bada bing, bada boom. I mean, that could be a whole episode in itself. But
This
yeah,
week.
it's one of those things. Don't dwell on it. I mean,
Nope.
literally, it's one of those things that you learn with experience. I've seen other broadcasters that are newer that have like a decent amount of viewership, like 60 to 70, that have done with it, and they literally have take their whole show and completely have converted it into a completely negative spot. And I'm noticing these people doing it over and over. So I'm much rather just like, oh yeah. So
yeah, don't
so the
dwell
thing
on
is,
trolls or people that are treating you bad.
yeah, and just trying to do what you can do. But that's all I got.
That's right. Me too. I'm done. Like I said, send that feedback, please. We want to know about your hype trains and your feedback on who we could have from Twitch, if that's even a possibility in the future. Let us know those things. In the meantime, Nate, tell the people where they can find you.
Perfect. You can find me literally almost every single day at twitch.tv/gnarly_Nate at 10 a.m. Eastern. And usually we're playing ESO right now. We're definitely doing like a partnership thing, and the numbers are in and everything. So I'm really close.
Yes.
I don't know why they keep delaying it, but we should have crossed the finish line here very soon. And then you can also find me on Instagram and Twitter at gnarly_Nate TTV. Yeah.
That's where you can find him, you guys. And then you can find me, Kyle Dempster Studios, on Twitch at that name. You can find me over on Twitter at twitter.com/Kyle Dempster STU. I need to get better at that. I have so fallen off my Twitter train, but I need to get back on there. That feed is just so nasty. I'm finally starting to like curtail it so it's not just negative. Because when the crisis started, that's what my feed turned into, and that's why I stopped. I was just like, I am feeling so down. Yeah, and mine are all, oh God, I told you guys, I got caught into this big one today about like Twitch etiquette, whether you can come into someone's chat. Some people saying it's totally fine to go into a streamer's chat and call them boring to their face because that's free speech. And then, you know, it was all over. But like, I need to stop getting roped into those. So to whoever retweets these really cool, thought-provoking things, stop it. I need to be thoughtless and mindless. I need to just post Elder Scrolls memes. I need to not use my brain. But yeah, and I'm streaming Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and who freaking knows when Greymore starts? I'm probably doing every day for like 12 hours.
I know
a day.
that's going to be an every day.
Whew.
Same here.
Gonna
Like
be
I'm
mad.
like I literally was talking to the girlfriend, and she was like, "Oh, we should go to Florida." I'm like, I'm not going anywhere for like 2 months.
Yeah.
So congratulations. You have fun in Florida while I try to rake in as many viewers and
Right.
subs and bits and financially stabilize myself.
Right. So come by for both of our streams. Say hi. Tell us what you like about the show. Feel free to ask us any questions you have. Who knows what we'll be in the middle of talking about at the time, but we always like to chat with the viewers here. And thank you, because I've seen a huge uptick in people coming by and saying that. I met Colin Smoke the other day, after we talked about him on the last episode, and then he came by chat and was chatting and all that cool stuff. So
Oh man, him and Calypso, who's another person, have listened to our stuff, and I've been like analyzing them, and they're killing.
Oh,
And they're
that's
like, "Is there
great.
anything you can do?" Because remember when we told them, it's like, yeah, just fill in as much space as possible. Like you never want to be down space when you're talking. Well, they were talking like 1,000,000 miles per hour, and then I was like, yeah, you could slow it down a little bit, and the Calypso did, but it was good. Like I came in, I was like, wow, this feels like way more comfy. So they're definitely like
That's
critiquing and
awesome.
they're doing their own test and thing. I mean, I've never been so proud. And there's like a lot of you guys that come in, like Bryce Lynn and all these other people.
Yes.
I
Bryson's
check
great.
in and peek into their streams every once in a while. They're doing a good job. You just got to keep it up. I mean, the thing is, we're all out here. I mean, even someone like me who I'm still out there grinding every single day trying to make it happen, and it never stops. So keep it up.
Never
keep streaming.
stops.
You guys got it.
It never stops. You gotta love the journey because that's literally all Twitch is. No destination in sight. So yeah, feel free to check both of us out, you guys. All of our links are in the bios below, whether you're on YouTube. By the way, shout out, come by on Wednesday nights. We do this at 8 p.m. Reminder, at the moment at least, we're doing it every 2 weeks. But Nate, let's look at the calendar. Today is the 6th. Okay, we will have time. Oh, that's perfect. So if we record again on the 20th, that means that we get to skip the 27th, the day that Greymore, the ESO expansion, releases.
God, yeah,
so
because that's going to be absolutely nuts.
we should probably try and still pop in on the week after that, but that's nice. That means that'll already have been out for a solid week at that point, and we should both step away for
Zoss sent you the stuff about the front page stuff is what Zoss sent you, right? Because I think they're trying to get me front page as well too. They're like
no, ZeniMax is doing something different. They're I didn't double read that one, but they're doing something different. But Twitch reached out to me about a thing, so I don't
see if I was partnered. They could have just did this. They should have partnered me. They better reply back.
I have no
quick.
idea how that works because again, I didn't have a partner manager.
I'm going to.
I was out there,
Papa Bezos,
talking to forms, filling them in. So there you go, everyone. Before I get yelled at, I'm out of here. You guys have a good rest of your week. Keep on streaming hard, and we will catch you May 20th. What the hell's wrong with my brain? I don't know what month it is or who we are.
Yeah, it's the 20th. See you on the 20th.
See you on the 20th of May, everybody. Bye. Love you. Bye. Okay, chat. Bye. There. Okay, everybody. My device overheated. Thank you guys so much. Mateo, thanks for hanging out with us. Louis,
always a pleasure, Mateo.
Always a pleasure. Mateo's good people. Everyone here is. Thank you all for hanging out. If you guys want, leave a like on the video. I'm sorry, I haven't been really super YouTube focused lately, so I should
make sure you like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know that when we go live.
Oh yeah, do all that stuff. I kind of miss that. I used to like making puns of that. It's the 53rd of Maproon, says Smarty there. I have no idea what that is, but I second that feeling. So, again, you guys, feel free in Discord or via however. Hi, Honeybean. Let us know what you think about hype trains and all that stuff. Would love that feedback for Twitch. So, anything else, Nate? You want to leave these fine folks? What do you say?
I love you. I love you all.
That sounds like me talking to Louie. I love you. You're great. Okay, chat. Have a good night, everyone. Love you. Bye.